Philadelphia's been really nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good.
The stereotype you guys is very nice.
Oh, good. I like that stereotype.
Right, no, you go for stereotypes, right, when
Yeah,
it's,
we do.
when it's
We do.
nice.
When it's good, yeah, of course.
I mean, not sports fan stereotypes. We try to steer away from
He's
that.
not actually a sports
I
fan.
know, I heard.
He's a suck-up.
Sure.
So, Steve, you want to start?
Yeah, I have the hard-hitting questions. Did either one of you own any leg warmers in your past or anything in your life?
Yeah, I still have some.
I still have some also, I was going to say.
I don't, but
No.
I hope that doesn't surprise you.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Surprise.
So, for this question is for you. I was so impressed with that Rain Man yen calculation thing. And I know that there's some nerd out there that's going to, you know, replay that millions of times
Right,
and
figure it out.
figure it out.
Find
How
out.
accurate is it?
Well, the math is correct. I just don't know anything about conversions, so I assume it's, I don't know, I mean, look,
Someone
it was so,
must have figured that out.
I was going to say, who wrote that part?
Me and Dowse wrote it, like, so I don't know, but
I'm scared.
but I think like the majority of people who watch it, hopefully. Look, I hope the movie's successful
Won't-
enough that somebody wants to
Won't
figure
be
it out.
focusing on that bit.
Yeah, I know, but I do think that was very hard to do, even because I didn't. My dad, by the way, said to me like, just if you're trying to memorize it. It was like 2 weeks before I was trying to like memorize it to really get it down so we do it all in one breath, kind of. And my dad goes, just use the math. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm gonna sit there and be like, right, this plus this is that.
Oh my
Like, I'm an
gosh.
actor, Dad. That's why I went into acting and never do math in my life.
He only did about 6 takes, but I will say the sweat just started pouring from his temples. It's like, ah! It was getting so frustrated.
They didn't pan away from you at all during that season.
No.
You had
I
to
wanted to get it
memorize
all in one take.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
cheered. He finished it. I think that was probably the only
That was
usable
one take.
take. But everyone was like, yeah! It was like the 10th take. He got it. It was great.
It's very
That's
hard,
awesome.
yeah.
It was impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was maybe our second last day or last day. Stuff.
Was
Yeah.
Is that the 23-hour day that we
That
have?
was not it. That was like mostly Dan stuff. Yeah.
For you, actually, do you feel any connections to the film's references to the 80s because of your age?
I do, yeah. I was born in 1986, so I didn't really get to experience the 80s firsthand, but I'm very familiar with that time period, and, you know, I'm a huge fan of the John Hughes movies, and you know, my mum was definitely channeling those 80s outfits well into the mid-90s, so you know, I got quite nostalgic when I got to put on the 80s outfits, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Do you enjoy your hair that way in the movie?
Well, my hair actually goes that way very easily because I have 3 awful cowlicks at the front of my hair, and I'm usually trying to work against them, but it was the first time in my life that I could actually go with it and just make it as big as I wanted, and my hair would just stay like that, and I enjoyed that. It was cool. Like, I feel like the mentality in the 80s is go big or go home. Like, bigger is better. And it was really fun.
With money and with hair.
And with
Right.
dance moves.
And with dance moves, right?
You mentioned John Hughes. I think I just read something the other day. Someone called this a John Hughes-esque film. And I was thinking...
Oh, that's great. That's a great compliment.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that all of John Hughes' films have, like, one iconic scene in the film that everyone will remember and everyone will reference. So kind of for both of you, what's that one scene you loved in
I
the
feel
film?
like if we did the video, if we did a scene... Did you see the music video?
I did, actually, yeah.
If someone was doing that about our time, we hope the ball is like what people would be imitating. I don't know how you'd imitate that. I guess you'd have someone in a ball off a cart. Not that anyone will...
I think the iconic scene for me, I don't know how you'd imitate it though, was maybe the boob scene was my favourite scene. I think that is actually...
The boob game scene is what you mean.
The boob game scene.
Right.
I think it's a pivotal moment in the film for our characters especially. It's the first time that there's quite a significant love connection between them, and you get to some insight into who Tori is and why Matt Franklin has been obsessing over her for so many years.
Speaking of the ball, I read something online that the director wanted to do it for real. Can you talk about that ball scene?
We wanted it to
Practical
be CGI,
effects, right?
or we just assumed it would be CGI or something, and he said it was more expensive to do it for real. But he said, let's do it for real, people will be able to tell, and I thought, great. I didn't really, when you're a producer or writing on it, you don't think that much about it. And then when you're about to get in the ball, you're like, wait, what's going on here? Like, what is this? When we shot it on the outside, I wasn't in it. But there were these huge jets that are actually these huge nets that are used to stop jet planes, and that would trap the ball. We kind of roll down the hill. And as a producer, I was like, man, if this thing goes over the net, it's going to kill some people. I mean, this is like a huge metal. It wasn't like lighter than it looked or something. And then in order to film me inside, they kind of pin the camera to one side of it and have me sit there and roll it around in this rotisserie. And it was nauseating. It was terrible. And then the underwater stuff was even harder. It was. We wanted to have this thing, though, that, what we really want to do is make a John Hughes movie. We didn't know how to do that today. Then we thought, if we do a movie like Dazed and Confused, that was... Did I ever do this?
You did. I'm sure you have. I don't want you to have to repeat everything.
Did I already repeat this?
Not in this interview.
Not in this interview. No.
I can recite it.
Sorry, I said it in the next one.
I know, you probably have seen it online.
I've actually been watching a lot of interviews to get some questions.
We don't
just rewrite that part. But basically, we did want to do the 20-year generational.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It was the genesis of the idea where I thought, we could do a John Hughes movie because that would, if we waited 10 years, we'd be having to do the 90s movie. But right now, we could do it, and it's like this time that I grew up watching these movies. So the thing about American Graffiti, which is a prototypical movie of this, is that there's this action scene at the end where Harrison Ford, through the whole movie, is challenging people to drag race and really wants to find this one guy to drag race. And this is before he was Harrison Ford. He's like a really good actor in this movie. And he kind of... finds that... What's that?
Oh, nothing.
No, I mean, before he was a huge celebrity.
Yeah.
No?
Before he was a good actor, you said.
No, he was a really good actor. I mean, he's just like a great actor who stood out in the film. They actually cut something out of the film where he sings opera that then Lucas, because it became a hit, put it in all the video. Yeah, it's a really wonderful thing because he's a bully in that movie. And then at this one point, he starts... singing opera. It's a really bizarre, cool thing. By the way, it's really great to see Lucas do a non-Star Wars Indiana Jones movie. Love that movie. So he, through that whole thing, is challenging people, saying, "Let me find this guy. I want to drag race him." And it's kind of a tension that starts to go underneath the film. It's a very low concept film. These all happens in one night, And kind of we wanted that to be right as you think it's going towards a resolution for this drag racing scene at the end of American Graffiti, it to open up. And actually be a whole new level of action and stuff in the movie, and be something you're not expecting. And yet it does resolve everything. But I love it. Every screening I've been in, when the ball goes underwater, after a while, people are like, "Oh!" I love that because it's not a typical romantic comedy moment.
Yeah.
I have a question about that ball. Actually, what in the movie was it supposed to be made out of?
Scrap metal.
Oh, really?
That's exactly what it was made out of, too.
Yeah.
Scrap metal, just all pieced together,
As if
you'd gone to a junkyard and you just stripped cars and any bit of metal.
It was based on Jeff Philgo, who wrote it with his wife Jackie Philgo, who grew up in Houston. And there was a urban legend about this thing called the cage. Kids would drag behind their cars, and sparks would fly out. He'd never seen it. And this is one of these things that's supposed to have been around. This movie made 20 years earlier would star Matt's dad in the 50s, and the ball was there at that party too. So he even kind of mentions it at one point.
He does, yeah.
What were you? We did that wonderful music video that I loved watching today.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It's kind of making the rounds right now. We're pretty psyched.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Did it just come out yesterday? Was it just
I think it was on Leeds Express Sullivan, but it was on Huffington Post yesterday. We're psyched about it.
What is your favorite 80s movies and the references that you're going to play out in that music video?
For me, I haven't seen a ton of 80s films, but I know it's probably one of the most popular 80s movies, but The Breakfast Club really resonates with me. I love that. I think he managed to capture everything from, there's a little bit of heart in there, there's a bit of warmth, they're a little bit edgy, they're doing something naughty. I like all those elements put together in a film. It makes for a very endearing movie, and we got to do it in the music video. That was our very last pose.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do, is we don't do the music video to spoof things, because we made our movie the non-spoof movie. We just want to do in every movie, everything that's been done, even episodes of TV shows like in Friends when they go back to the 80s or whatever, they're always spoofing it. And
Laughing
I didn't really live in
poking
those.
fun at it.
You guys are younger than us, but you go. I didn't live in that 80s. That wasn't really a real time.
Right.
We wanted to be the one where you actually went. That's great. Some of the older people we've talked to feel like that was actually an 80s they were in.
Yeah.
So we want to have a real
They're
document.
very nostalgic for that time. Which is
Yeah.
exactly what we set out to capture.
That's it. The ones that influence the movie the most are 16 Candles, because it's the structure, kind of all in one.
Right.
Breakfast Club, because like she said, it has a real kind of 4-course meal thing about it. We get comedy, drama, like gross out, like highbrow, like we want to have everything in there. Ferris Bueller's just kind of in tone. And then a lot of Cameron Crowe's stuff, because he directed Say Anything, which is kind of really close to our plot. And he wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is a hard R, which we really wanted to not pull any punches, you know.
Speaking of the hard R, I'm gonna bring up this little cocaine controversy that's
But
been
why
going
don't you,
on.
because you got the answer on the internet, thing, you can bring that up. And
We did get the answer on the internet, but I was actually wondering why. Well, so I work for the Philadelphia Film Society, and we do the Philadelphia Film Festival, and we tried to acquire the film for the festival when it was still under the title Kids in America.
You tried to.
We tried to acquire. We were seeing
Oh,
if
right,
it would be
right,
available
right.
for the festival. And so at that time, one of the things we heard was that there was this excessive cocaine use. And then when I saw it, I kind of thought it was like a silly use of cocaine that you can't really take
Look, we
super
totally
seriously.
agree with you.
Yeah.
But, you know, with all, you know, respecting the former company that was going to distribute it, they're owned by a huge corporation, doesn't just make films.
Right.
And they're not wrong. I mean, you know,
It's
it's
daunting
a
for
bunch
them
of
to
20-somethings getting
Right.
blasted out of their mind, even if it's silly. They're trying to, like, get cigarettes taken out of their films.
Right.
So to have a bunch of kids who just graduated college doing a bunch of nose candy, it's not great. I will say, you know, I've been talking about these films. Ron Howard was in American Graffiti that had some of the same kind of problems. Dazed and Confused had all the same problems with marijuana. I mean, it's like I've been saying, there's a movie in the 90s, 10 years from now, that someone's going to have a problem with all the ecstasy in it. And that, you know what I mean? And the glow sticks or whatever.
So true.
So, in this case, you need us? Okay, sorry. So in this case, we're really lucky that Gordon, my producer partner, and I, we don't know what we're doing. It's our first movie. So we were really, the only kind of smart thing we did was team up with Brian Grazer and Ron Howard. Because Ron's been in this experience as an actor. And then, you know, they're the most prolific producers of our time. So for them to then say, keep it as is.
Right.
Probably in this time you were talking about, it won't get dated. It's already entirely dated. Let the cut stay artistically what it is. Because it would have been so neutered if there hadn't been you wouldn't even know what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
doesn't
happy
make
to,
sense at all without that plotline.
Yeah, very happy with how. I'm happy to be the one publicizing it now, so I can say I was there at the inception of the idea. And this is exactly artistically what we wanted to do with it.
And the new studio.
And thank you for what you said, though. It's not Scarface, obviously.
No, not at all.
But I just feel as though the new studio, they have embraced it wholeheartedly. And Topher was saying before that we got to put other stuff back in the movie, and it's you know, it's definitely found its home.
And did you ever really work
Last
at
question,
Suncoast?
please. Thanks.
Last question. I did work at Suncoast for 2 years during the summer in high school, and it's not autobiographical why it's in there. It's just we thought we got to start with mall culture, like it's so 80s, and just
No, it's so annoying. Yeah, I cannot
just
stop
realized it.
listening to it. So
But,
distracted.
then we thought, all right, if we start in a mall, because it's 80s, what are the two stores we can go in that literally don't exist anymore? Which is a record store, or even a CD store doesn't exist anymore. Which Sam Goody, where it starts, and then Suncoast Video.
Yeah.
Which is it's sad that I work there, can't find it anymore, but it's just not a thing. But I did love working there. I remember they tried to get me to push Laserdiscs on everyone. And people would be like, what about the DVD? And I'm like, what? That's not even a real thing. Laserdisc is where it's at. Whatever.
That's funny. My first note when the movie started on my piece of paper was like, starts in Suncoast Video, this is going to be an Empire Records spoof.
I love it.
But it didn't feel like that.
No, not at all. It's
Just
like
follow.
10 minutes later, I was like, oh yeah, that's not right.
That's great.
Great, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Get them
It
off
was
the
great meeting you
airport.
guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so
Great
much.
meeting you.
You
Thanks.
too. Cheers. Thank you very much.